back to You Tips for You. Today I want to talk to you about some diet tips, some ideas that I have for you that I live by that I think will help you reduce your calorie intake, which is probably the best idea when it comes to having a healthy eating lifestyle and looking fit and feeling fit because you've reduced your weight. Okay, so tip number one for you. The first tip I want to share with you is a bad habit that we all tend to do that we shouldn't do, and that is eating in front of the television. Make that a no-no. No eating in front of the television, because when you eat, you are not in front of the television, you're not paying attention to what you're doing. Thus you consume more calories than you should. When you sit down to have a meal, any meal, you really need to pay attention to what you're eating. And it registers to your brain that you're actually physically feeding yourself, which needs to be enjoyed and experienced. And if you do that, you focus on what you're doing, you will eat less. The other thing I want to suggest is that you pay attention to your stomach when you're eating. First of all, don't eat unless you're hungry. And I mean hungry. Don't eat because you're bored, or your favorite show is on, or you're happy about something, or you're sad about something. I mean, there's a whole slew of emotional reasons. We've all heard this before, but it really is true. Eat when you feel the hunger. Sometimes I actually feel the hunger in my head, if that makes sense to you. I get kind of like tired, and I feel like I need an energy boost to my brain almost. Not so much that I'm starving in my stomach even, and then I'll have a snack. So that's when you should eat, and you'll pay attention to your tummy if it's hungry. Now we also need to pay attention to our tummy when it's full. Sometimes if you're sitting down eating, the act of sitting down, you almost can't really feel when you're full. And I've always been a believer that you need to stand up. So if you're sitting, especially if you're at a long meal, maybe it's a holiday, you're out to dinner with someone and there's a lot of talking and you're eating and you get distracted, that's a good time to put it to test. And you'll stand up, you'll say, oh, and when you stand up, if you feel full and your tummy feels tight, that's it. You've overeaten. When you get up from a normal meal, you don't want that feeling. You want to feel like you've eaten something, but that not you're overextended and distended and your stomach feels tight. Because this is how we stretch our stomach. And if we're going to maintain nice flat abs, we want to shrink the stomach, which is just get it used to the normal amounts of food. Okay? Now the other thing I want to suggest is that you reduce the size of your plate. Okay, this is a normal dinner size plate. It's a 10-inch plate. This is what most people use when they go to eat. This is what I use. A smaller plate. It's an 8-inch plate. And when I fill my plate, I fill this plate. Because I know right off the bat, I'm getting less food. I feel like I'm eating a lot because my plate is full, but I've filled a smaller plate. And if you do this consistently, throughout your meals, over time, you're going to reduce your calorie intake without really depriving yourself. Again, look at them together. Look at the difference if you were to fill up each of these plates. If I filled up this plate and put it into this plate, it's going to still have a lot of space around it. And I'm going to say, oh, look, I'm depriving myself, right? So we don't use this plate. We use the smaller plate. And that's a great tip. That's something you can do. Keep it standard. You'll always do that for yourself. The other thing I want to suggest is that you pay attention to eating food groups. That's how I eat. I think it's a great way to have a healthy diet, to make sure you get all of the food groups. You always have your plate divided. Now when I have like a lunch or a dinner, and I'm not going to include breakfast because you'll see in my other breakfast video what I have for breakfast. I have a really nice hearty breakfast. So when it's time for lunch, I will have my vegetables, my starch, which is like a potato, or it's going to be pasta. I love the whole grain varieties. Try the Barilla Plus. It's wonderful. It's the closest thing to regular pasta, and it has so much more protein. It's much better for you. So I will have the vegetable, I'll have the starch, let's call it, okay, and the protein. And I'll do that in every meal. So I'll have like a chicken cutlet, something that I'll consider a protein, or maybe it's beans, or it's meat or fish, That's going to be my protein. Then I'm going to always have my vegetable, whether it's a green one or a yellow one or an orange one. Now if you're having a sandwich, obviously that's a great meal too. You can have a sandwich and you can put all those things in your sandwich. You can put vegetables and tomatoes and lettuce and you can even put broccoli in your sandwich if you want to. If you're not a person who likes to do that, have your sandwich, but have your salad. You have to have your vegetables in every meal. You really need your fiber. Vegetables are wonderful to fill you up, no extra calories. It's great if you're trying to lose weight, but always do have your starch, your carb. You need that, especially if you work out. You really need that because you need to expend it. That's where you get your energy from. Don't be afraid of the carbs. But like I said, it's not a main meal. It's part of the 3 sections of your plate. Okay? Okay? So, that's automatic portion control for you. If you use the smaller plate, pay attention to your tummy when it tells you you're full. I hope these points have helped you. Paying attention to food groups is the best way to eat because you ensure that you're getting the proper vitamins and minerals at every meal. And then in your snacks, you can think about, well, okay, what haven't I had today? Have I fallen short with my dairy? So maybe you'll have a little cheese or yogurt, or you'll have a glass of milk. Or if you had milk with your breakfast cereal, you want to get 3 servings of dairy a day. So you want to make sure throughout the day you get that in. I'm also a big lover of peanut butter, if you can work that into your diet. And the reason I like it is because it stays with you a long time. It keeps you full. And when you're full for longer, you eat less. So while it is high in calories, peanut butter, you don't need a lot. A couple of tablespoons or whatever on some crackers, on an apple. It'll keep you full. It's got protein. We always try to have protein whenever we can, especially with a fruit. Fruit and protein, fruit and nuts, yogurt with fruit and nuts. I mean, mix your food groups together, just like I showed you with the plate at lunchtime where you have your 3 food groups there. You may want to then head towards having some calcium later on, maybe a few more nuts, or like get your fruits in, your fruit servings. Have at least 2 servings of fruits a day. Okay, well I hope those tips really helped you. Like I said, I live by them, and I don't really worry so much about ever dieting. I just control what I eat, I try to eat healthy, and I pay attention to the food groups, making sure I've had each of the food groups every day. Alrighty? Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. And I love your comments, and please don't forget to subscribe. I have lots more to come about diets and exercise. Okay, thank you. Bye now.